swept away, swept away. I'm cornered in the cold where you left me. Left again, left again. Oh, there's a jungle in my head growing wilder, and it's killing me, killing me. I cannot let you go. I cannot let you go. I cannot let you go. I cannot let you go.
Hello, and welcome back to the Test Studio. We are having fun here today. We still haven't got our song synced up for the end of this.
We're getting closer.
We're getting closer.
Every week.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer every week, and we're getting better every week because this week we have a special guest. So we're moving up in the world. Eden, thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
Hi, oh my God. I am so excited to be on with you guys. I watch Test Studio regularly. I'm not gonna lie, I've missed a few here and there, but I've watched quite a few. So I was telling Katie and Jill right before we went live that I was like, I feel like I have a very strong one-way relationship. I know you guys very well, so I'm ready.
Well, now
I
it's
don't know if you guys feel that way about me.
Now it's a two-way relationship. It's all good.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm so glad that you were willing to come on. Jill and I were talking last week and we were like, we should do something a little bit different. We've been talking like a lot about these kinds of like super complicated productions. So I'm like, maybe if we simplified, and Jill had a great idea about doing like simpler, easier setup. So this just makes a ton of sense. We are coming at you. I'm on my phone today, which is such a cool experience. I don't do it as often as I should, but I have a pretty decent phone and the camera's looking pretty good. So I'm excited about this.
You look awesome.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is that I had a moment of panic because Wednesdays are my day where I'm in like every space I have. So I'm like home, in the office, in the other office, back home, out for lunch, back into the office. So I didn't have like an actual mount. So you will laugh at me. I had to like disconnect. I can't even show you with it. The other mic. I can't even show it without it like falling over. There we go. I had to disconnect the other microphone from the stand and like just rig it up. Yeah, in a very complicated. It's sitting on top of. I couldn't even find books because I'm in the office. If I was at home, there'd be so many books, but in the office, I couldn't even find books. So it's like it's sitting on like a container of toffee that Ken and I have been working our way through here in the office. So we're classy today, friends. We're ready. We're ready.
So
to go.
I used my cell phone, like a little clamp on the cell phone, right? And then I have it connected to a shoe mount, so it's connected on top of a different camera that I have.
All right,
but there's lots of different ways to set these things up, so we'll get into that. Oh, did I get frozen?
I feel like that is one of the cool things about using your phone is that because it's so small and compact and light, you can actually get creative with all the different ways to get it mounted perfectly, you know, compared to a bigger setup. Like it's a lot easier to mount when it's just this tiny little phone that fits in your pocket.
Yeah. And even if you're not going to use it as your main camera, it's just great to have as a secondary camera. There's like always a moment, I had one earlier today where you're like, I would like to show like that way, or like I would like to show my hands and being able to
like an overhead camera.
Yeah, right? You're like, oh, if only I had an extra camera, and like we have all these expensive phones just literally sitting like lying in do not disturb mode next to us that we're not using.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I absolutely love it. Okay, before we jump in, we got to say hi to everyone because we have like the crew here with us today. We have Paul, we have Fulgens. It's Christmas time. I love the Christmas, the Christmas trees. I love Doc is on. I'm so excited to see
Oh my
everyone
God,
here
Doc.
soon. Doc's here. Groupie moment. Fulgens. It does look great, right? Yeah, I had a lot of fun setting this. I mean, these are your beautiful overlays, so everything looks great in the building blocks overlays. They made it so easy. I'm getting a little bit better at manipulating them after what feels like a solid year or more of watching endless building block videos. I'm finally getting better at maneuvering these things around. Check out these like fancy lower thirds.
Love
I was
it.
able to duplicate those. It was very exciting.
It's so nice.
Awesome. Well,
Oh, my kid.
the kids. Yeah. Mine, my daughter is playing Minecraft in the other room, and my son is down the hall. So anything's possible. Hey, Sam.
Yeah, and I live in Brooklyn, so a ambulance could go by any second.
Oh yeah, fire
So.
trucks and ambulances.
Fire
all
trucks,
the way.
yeah, all the time.
Well, in case people don't know who you are, Eden, we should probably do some kind of introduction. Most people, I think, at this point are familiar with both you and with Camo, but why don't you tell us who you are and what Camo is, and then we can dive into some of the details.
Sure. Thank you, Katie. I am Eden. I run customer success team at Camo. I also do community building work. So a lot of that is building relationships with, our friends at Ecamm, our friends at other brands, our relationships with the customers. I'm doing a lot of groundwork for getting like our community platform set up, and I'm starting to do community live streams for Camo. And in case you guys don't know, Camo is the app that lets you use your smartphone as a pro quality webcam to look amazing on video. Camo gives you video superpowers. That's our new tagline, I think. So
Yeah, it's
Nice.
That's like the perfect tagline. It's so easy. I literally I was like, oh, I gotta get all this up. Like just plugged it in, and it was like clicked Camo, and it was like, your camera, here it is.
I remember one of like the first couple of months on the job, someone needed we don't have a how-to guide video for some reason yet. Don't ask me about that. It's coming, promise, coming soon. But I just remember I like threw one together just like with screen recording and just sort of talking through it. The whole video from beginning to end, setting up Camo and getting it to like load and zoom was like less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so
That's awesome.
it's possible to set up in 2 minutes or less. So
yeah,
and I don't even have fast download speed. So
you're like, I'm gonna move slow, and it's still gonna take 2 minutes or less. Yeah, that's incredible. I think easy is certainly incredibly important, and I love, Jill, that you have so many phones, so we can really play around with all.
I know. And you know what? If I had had more time, I could have stolen the phones. I shouldn't say it like this because they're my phones, right? But that the kids play with.
Yeah.
Take back. So yes, on another video, I want to plug in like actually all the phones, but
yeah, we should do like a follow-up just video on demand with just like all the phones plugged in on one screen. All the different angles. You could have literally every
that
angle
sounds like
in your
fun.
room.
Yeah, I was actually thinking it's the easiest way to set up a full multi-angle studio is just with phones, because like I said, small and compact, easy to set up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I set up this shot. I will show everyone, and then maybe we can have Jill mess around as well. But check this out. Okay, so here on the left, I have no way to easily point it out to you, but on the left, in the tall frame, is me on my phone.
There you go.
I'm rocking an iPhone SE, a now immediately outdated, cheapy version of the iPhone, thanks to yesterday's announcement. But it's like the cheapest of the newest phones, the most not cool and not up-to-date professional level phone, and still the quality looks really good. And then on the top is the Sony a6400, which I use on a regular basis. You can see my phone in it, which is kind of fun, actually. I'm starting to dig in it. And then the bottom one is my, as Jill calls it,
potato cam.
My potato cam. That's my built-in face cam, which I have to admit, isn't awful on this computer. It's more of a I need to kind of mess with
your lighting treatment of that space that Doc, helped set up is really good. So that's one huge thing that you'll notice as we share. You can make the most out of any camera if your lighting is good and if your settings are good.
Yeah, absolutely. I love I love it. Todd says that my first 8 months on YouTube was Camo with an iPhone XR. Woohoo! I love it.
Nice. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Absolutely. But I think this is a good conversation because we've been talking like a lot over the last few months, Jill and I, about all these like very complicated
about
everything, but about these very like complicated, expensive setups. And I was reading through everyone's fantastic reviews. People have just been like submitting reviews for our new Capterra page. So if you haven't submitted a review for us on Capterra yet, you should do that. But I've been reading through in detail like what everyone says, and a couple of the comments that came up were still positive comments, but along the lines of like, what about the rest of us who don't have huge budgets, or we're just getting started, or like we're doing this for fun, like this is like a me and my bestie are doing like a video podcast once a week kind of thing, and it's not, it's not something where we're going to be making a ton of money or we're looking to monetize, but we want to be able to step it up a little bit. So here we are at the beginning of talking through how you can do this on a budget. So none of this is overly expensive. Like Jill said, lighting, I think, really helps when it comes to, changing up your camera or in any space. But even that's not super hard to do. And there's a bunch of different options out there. These lights are probably overkill in some ways. It's like a giant light in front of me. But
I was actually looking up on Amazon just sort of video conferencing light options because I wanted to make a video to sort of give people suggestions for like easy lighting that don't have the big softbox, don't have a lot of room. Like the concept video I think is going to be like for lighting for like a limited space. And I was actually surprised at all the different options that were out there compared to like even a year ago, I think, because I'm pretty sure I did the search a year ago when just there was a lot of Zooming going on during the pandemic. And I was trying to get like a ring light or something just to like help me on Zoom with like my friends. And then compared to when I was checking just a month ago, I was like, oh my God, there are a zillion lighting options at like all the price points. So that's really awesome. There's like so many options and I can't wait to try like 10 of them.
You need like order them all in and do a comparison unboxing. Yeah, I mean, we have these Dasny lights in the studio here, and then I have like a similar style at home where it's just like a rectangle basically, and I have it in front of me with a softbox over it. But Elgato's key lights are not awful either. Like I have those in kind of like my
one over here.
Yeah, right. And they have mini versions of them now too. So like you can have a fleet of them, a fleet of key lights. But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different options out there depending on what your space is. And yeah, I mean, I think, ring lights, they're like pros and cons to ring lights. I'm sure Doc will have feelings to yell out in the comments as he's like, no, not ring lights. But I mean, there are, different, depending on what you're doing, there are some different options out there. But if anything above just relying on natural light or a window in front of you is a win as far as things go, because there's just so many things that can happen with natural light. Like Boston right now, where there's just a snowstorm, and it went from being like nice
suddenly
to
snowing,
like suddenly snowing and dark out. So
for no good reason.
So anything is possible in the world of lighting for sure. Jill, shall I go over to you, show your different options? Are
sure,
you ready?
If you want to. I'm as ready as today is going to let me be. Hi guys.
Oh, I love this.
Jill, it's everything.
It's awesome.
So I will say I didn't mess with my settings too much in terms of using my phone as a camera. Actually, I can switch to a scene that's just the phone. So it's a little bit wider than what I would set up because I didn't have as much time to set everything up. But I mean, this compared to a webcam, I don't have a built-in webcam on this because I'm using a Mac Mini. But Potato Cam versus my phone that I already have and use, and literally it's just download the app, plug it into your computer, and then it's working. I'm very happy with, and the fact that I can do some adjustments later on to kind of make my face stand out and not have as much lighting and everything like that. I think that there are a ton of options, and it used to be harder without some of the apps like Camo to get a good quality image from a phone, or to use the phone as a webcam. And so I'm thrilled that technology's come a long way, and that we can now have, a really good picture from a phone and have it talk to the computer without lots of problems. So I'm happy to like even beyond this stream kind of talk about step 1, step 2 and how to go in and make adjustments so that you can really get the scene and the footage and everything that you like.
Yeah. And it's one of those kind of fun streams because there's not really a ton of steps. So there's not a ton for us to really go into detail with, but we're happy to answer any questions that you have. I mean, generally speaking, one of the coolest parts about it is that it is so fast and easy. So it literally took, minutes to download the app onto your phone. You plug it in. There are settings that you can play around with, right? Even in Camo, that you can kind of tweak things. Like now that I'm seeing myself and I have more time, I'm like, oh, I'm a little bit orange, which happens to me here in our orangey kind of space. So I could probably go in and mess around with that. I could certainly do it in Ecamm as well, but what settings exist within Camo? Kind of what control do you have using the app?
Yeah, totally. We have a bunch of controls, all the lighting and image adjustments that you would expect. Like, when you take a picture or video on your phone, you know how you can go in and edit just like for white balance, brightness, contrast to make you fine tune to look exactly how you feel like you look the best. That's what Camo offers. And all of the settings are in front of you on the computer. So it's really easy to adjust as you go. So even like right now, Katie, like while I'm talking, if you were to like turn down the white balance a little bit to look less orange, it's like really subtle and easy to do on the fly. There's no, it's not very complicated. It is very easy. It's slider bars, it's check boxes. Our goal is to keep it very user friendly, very, very plug and play. And also, Jill, earlier when you were talking about just like the angles and the setup, like one of my favorite, and it's like so underrated because when I say zoom and pan as a feature, it sounds so basic, but I am not even kidding. The number of times that I have noticed like half a sandwich in the background on my table behind me, and I have to jump on a Zoom call, and then I'm just like, oh my God, there's like a dirty napkin behind me. Let me just like zoom a little bit and pan up and to crop it out. I'm like, it has saved me so many times in meetings. Like, so Camo just really lets you frame your video, adjust your video color to be exactly how you want it, so you can look your best.
Yeah, absolutely. I was playing around with my options in Ecamm as well. So between the two of them, you're all set. You really, you can mess with it no matter what you're doing, zooming in and out. And yeah, I think, right now I have it just plugged in with USB directly into my computer. Certainly if you have like a dock or, any additional ways you could have a bunch of them. You could have however many phones you have or can borrow and get your hands on. You could have, different angles and things, which I think is one of the coolest parts of being able to live stream with software like Ecamm is the control over multiple cameras and being able to kind of give a really more dynamic kind of look and feel to your area. I don't end up doing that as often. I tend to just have like my one camera in front of me, but there are like a bunch of, things that we'd be able to show. Maybe not today. The studio's a mess today, but normally you could show cool different angles of all different things.
Yeah.
Or
and like
demoing.
Being able to adjust I did a stream last night with a bunch of friends and being able to set up the scenes, and now I'm talking about Ecamm, right? And wherever their shot is, if I wanted to match everybody, I can just kind of zoom in or crop or slide things over or adjust white balance and all of those things. So being able to do that for other people that might not be super comfortable. So like, let's say that someone doesn't have a webcam, right? They have a new Mac Mini and they've got an important interview call and they're like, oh no, I don't even have a webcam. To be able to download an app like this, have them balance it on books if they need to. Like if you don't have any of the gear, right? That you're not like me and have like all the things. You have like just not so many things. They can use the device that they have, balance it up and look better than Potato Cam and better than most webcams that do a lot of distortion. So I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
I mean, again, for your average person, the difference in quality is not far off. And again, like I don't have the most expensive of the iPhones. So there are certainly better cameras built into phones than what I have right now. So if you've like recently upgraded your phone and you're looking, you're using an older phone, I know Doc uses like one generation older than his current active phone. It's just an extra camera in the studio space. I mean, this, for most people to go from just like, again, this camera here to this camera here is, that's basically all most people are going to need, especially if you're getting started or if you're just trying to get a little bit of additional control over, planning and how you're structuring your content. It's a good option. I mean, it's been interesting looking at the difference. I mean, the Sony A6400, it's not a cheap camera. It's an expensive camera. It's got an extra lens on it, and it's not, I mean, you can see the difference, but it's not drastic. It's really not it's not, yeah, but Doc is pointing out this side, my new bowling pin. Check out my new bowling pin, everyone. I came into the office today. I took photos if you follow me on Instagram, or Facebook. But it had like what looked like
I need
1,000 stamps on it. So for those of you who don't know, this is all Keith's fault. So we'll blame Keith for it. Back when I was like, I don't know, a teen or tween, somewhere in there, I lived a ton of time at the bowling alley in town. And I think it was that I won. I can't remember if I won it or if they just like gave us. Anyway, I ended up with a bowling pin, and my best friend put glow-in-the-dark star stickers all over it. And it has just become like the one decor piece that I've had all the way through, like in every apartment, every house. And so I have it just like awesome. on my counter on my like dressing vanity, I don't even know what it's called, in my room. And it happens to be in the background of like my home studio set, and always has been. Awesome. And every time I went live, Keith would be like, I love that bowling pin. I see that bowling pin in the background. And Keith has been very upset that the bowling pin did not follow me to the Amesbury studio, but it's like, it's a personal thing and I love it. So I have it at home. So I showed up today and Doc had sent me my new backup bowling pin.
that is so awesome.
My office bowling pin. So I feel like the at-home one has glow-in-the-dark stickers. So I feel like this one might need, I don't know, something. So it needs some kind
decorating.
It needs like a thing.
Some kind of branding.
It needs some branding. It needs some branding.
Some Ecamm stickers, maybe.
Some Ecamm stickers. Yeah, it's gonna definitely need something. So if you have thoughts on my new bowling pin. But my favorite part of it, in addition to just the shock and amazement of receiving a bowling pin in the mail, was the fact that, and I took a photo of this, it had like just a ridiculous amount of stamps on it. Like the whole envelope was just stamps. And I don't think I've ever seen that before. And it was glorious, Doc. It's just fantastic. Yeah, credenza, if you fancy. Exactly. The pin is part of the family. Maybe the pin needs a name. Maybe we need a contest for the pin. All East Coast people
naming the pin. That would be great.
Yeah.
A contest.
Yeah. So and it was very weird for me to move to New England because here in New England they have like multiple different kinds of bowling that people in Montreal did not know was a thing. And in Canada, I shouldn't even say all
big
over
balls
Canada.
Or bust.
Yeah, in Montreal it was just like normal, non-weird 10-pin bowling with like the heavy, big Flintstone style bowling balls. And here they have like a whole different
candlepin.
They have candlepin bowling, which has different rules that I always mess up. And then they also have 10-pin bowling, but with small pins that have the same and small balls. Like can't play. There are multiple different kinds of bowling that are not awesome traditional.
Nope. big balls or bust.
Okay, Jill. I was gonna say I'm trying to offend you, but you haven't gotten there. So
no,
it sounds like putt but for bowling.
Yeah,
yes.
It's putt but for bowling. I know. And I'm like not even skilled enough these days to be able to like do a bowling related show. Like it's like the remnants from like glow in the dark, dance music bowling nights with friends.
Oh yeah, with the blue light, so you feel cool if you wear like a white shirt.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, neon everything.
Oh man.
Yeah. Pizza.
That was like my teenage years.
Yes. Yes, we'll have to find bowling pins for everyone.
All right, I have a question, not to pull us back into our focus.
Pull us back into our focus.
Because we're casual here.
Yeah.
So what do you say, Eden, to someone that wants to use their phone as a webcam, like they know everyone always says, oh, you don't have a nice camera. Well, you've got $1,000 camera right in your pocket. But a lot of people, sometimes people like me, or maybe a little bit older, might be freaked out in terms of like, well, what about notifications going
Oh,
off
that's
and
a good
like,
one.
or, things that pop up, or is that going to drain my battery? Like the technical things that people worry about. Can you speak to that in terms of like what settings people should put their phone on, what they should know before they decide to use their phone as a professional webcam for live streaming?
Yeah, great question.
Sure. That is a great question.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had someone at us on Twitter about this. They were using Camo for a live stream, and then someone called them. So of course the stream got interrupted. Actually, shout outs to our friends at Speedify. It was the team over there that did Speedify Live.
Oh,
And
no.
I was first of all like, oh my God, so sorry. But we actually recommend that you put your phone on do not disturb mode whenever you're using Camo for a stream.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually have a blog post about how to use shortcuts to like so you can set up a shortcut to like automatically run do not disturb whenever you have Camo open on your phone.
Yeah.
I do not have those steps memorized, but I can link you guys to the blog
Good,
article.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
awesome.
for me, it's like swipe down
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and then hit that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there are cooler ways to do that. I just haven't figured
Yeah,
them
it
out
just
yet.
sounds so much cooler to say that I set up a shortcut,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I don't know how to do it, but I could if I read the blog article, which I will link you guys to. But
That would be
also
great.
another point that I wanted to answer is because Camo is tethered to your computer, it's plugged in. So you don't have to
Right.
worry about it running out of charge because it's charging the whole time. And Camo actually even shows you in like the upper left hand corner. Sorry, I don't know my difference between left and right clearly.
One of the corners.
But yeah, it'll show you how much your phone is charged. So it shouldn't lose battery because it's plugged in. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, I just used my phone for like a stream for an hour. It's going to be dead at the end of it. Like
Yeah.
you can,
Right.
it'll be still
It's
good to
charging
go, fully
as you're
charged.
using it. That's awesome. And that's a huge benefit. I mean, there's
Mhm.
lots of cameras that we use that we have to go ahead and buy a dummy battery and have that plugged in. And sometimes it's a regular port. Other times you need 2 USB. I mean, when you start upgrading your gear from a built-in webcam to an external webcam to a camera, like sometimes there are more things that can go wrong. So if you're really comfortable with your phone and this app is as easy as we're saying it is, which it is, then it can be a really safe, good solution. And we hardly ever forget our phones. So
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
think
it's a
sometimes
really good for that reason. Like it's a really good on the go solution because it's like, what if you wanted to you went on vacation, you weren't expecting produce content, so you didn't bring your whole kit with you, but like all of a sudden,
Right.
You're in the like mood to like stream or something and you have your phone. So, Camo's here to facilitate that.
Yeah, you have your phone and you have the cable to be able to plug it in because you're charging your phone.
Yep.
So it's you have both those things. It's funny that I feel like when we first started getting, articles together and questions coming in from Ecamm members on like how to use a phone as a webcam, we had this like huge flood of questions where they're like, but I want to be able to use it wireless, but I want to be able to, to have it at wireless.
Yeah.
And I think that's like people's immediate thought when they're thinking about like using a phone as a webcam is that like, I need a wireless option. I would challenge you back that 99.9% of the time you don't. You just think it's a cool thing because you're like, oh, I'm gonna take it on the go and walk around, but you're still trying to produce something from your computer, especially if you're using Ecamm. So like you probably aren't that far away from your computer. We talk about this a lot, and I think it almost kind of resonated a lot more with me this week and last week as I was getting ready and thinking through like what we're taking with us to San Diego. It's like it's the same setup even if you're leaving. Like the actual core like parts of my setup, not that big. Like I use a laptop 99.9% of the time. Like my light, my one big light is huge, but everything else is pretty small and easy for me to bring around. So you probably don't, like, how far away from your computer do you really want to get?
Right.
Because you're producing, you're checking for comments, you're doing all these different things. I think wireless is probably only going to come into effect if you are, producing a show for like with a team on site with you, and you want someone carrying it around, it's something to consider. But most use cases, you're not really going to need it. You just think you do, which I get. I think I do sometimes
and
too.
it can be cool. I will say, no matter how many different ways I've set up completely wireless cameras, whether it be through different phone apps or like a Mevo camera, I always find latency to be an issue with NDI. And and I know that there are some people that have this down to a science and they've figured out the best way to do it. But if you're doing a show like this, let's say that we're all in person together and I've got this camera wired in and that camera wired in, but then somebody else is far away, and so I have it coming in through like NDI and I don't have a cable on it, there's always a delay. I've never been able to synchronize it, but again, that's just my experience. I do know, like, I think Kevin Lyons does a ton with NDI and has had great success, but also the issue with NDI and having things be wireless is that, like, so your device and your computer need to be on the same internet connection. And so sometimes, like, I'm connected through Ethernet in my and this computer here, but then like it's just a little more complicated. So if we're talking to people in this stream who might want a more simplified setup, having it physically wired in is charging your phone at the same time. You're not dealing with any type of delay or like passing it over in the cloud and NDI and all that stuff. It's happening in real time, and so
Yeah,
I'm
Jill,
team
thank you.
wiring.
I'm so glad you said that, because that is actually one of our biggest concerns about going wireless. We do have wireless on our roadmap, and we are actively working on it because we do know, like, there are pros to going wireless. And
yeah, for sure.
And let's be honest, cable management is always an issue for people like us with a lot of gadgets. You know, we always have not enough ports and too many things that we need to plug in. So we are exploring wireless, but we are looking for like a solution where we can really minimize latency and not have to compromise on quality. Just there's so many variables depending on what kind of wireless technology it is. You know, dropping frames, like, we want to really avoid all of that. So we are working on it. We know people want it. We do hope to ship it, but like for all the reasons you kind of touched on, Jill, is why we haven't yet.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, you know, to get it as good as possible is huge. But I will say, like you said, I like going to some behind the scenes shots sometimes. And so for those type of shots, I'm okay if there's a little bit of like,
that's a good point,
delay.
Right.
Because like if I'm not, like, we were joking about like lip syncing, right, during the countdown or whatever. And we're like, oh, I wonder if there's any latency. We're going to look like we're bad TikTokers. So for some over the head shots or behind the scenes shots where I'm not worried about like my mouth being in sync with the audio, I'm okay with those wireless options. Like, I do use my Mevo camera for that because it's this nice wide angle and it's kind of cool. But for the most part, I want to be seen and heard. I want to be seen and heard good. English major.
It's the snow. We'll blame the snow.
It's absolutely the snow.
I want to go back, actually, as I didn't when you were talking about it, Eden, but yeah, Doc just has a reminder that we should point out as well that shortcuts. So when Eden was talking, Doc, shortcuts. You and your spelling always crack me up. So Ecamm version 3.10 launches tomorrow. We're doing a huge like celebration live stream. We're celebrating 10,000 YouTube subscribers, which is just mind-boggling to me. And and one of the big features that I'm still learning like a ton about is the ability to set up all of these Mac shortcut automations. So, you know, it is things like, I now have gotten in the habit of turning Do Not Disturb on my phone regardless of whether or not I'm using my phone for anything, just because and I keep my phone on silent almost all the time, but there's always something. There's inevitably like, you know, a notification comes up on screen, and my phone, like, because I live in an Apple world, like my phone is connected to my computer, which is connected to the iPad my daughter is on right now. And so, like, you know, she could be watching who knows what, and something could pop up in the middle. Anything could happen. And so having that as a setting, I think, is huge. But there's a bunch of other really cool shortcuts, and we've been chatting with a few of the different Ecamm fam who have been sharing just like some amazingly cool things that you can do. So I feel like this is my year to automate. I'm like very excited about what's possible. I'm like, what if? I'm like, we got this cool live sign in the office. And Glenn made it sync up, so like when you press the big red button that we have, like it turns the live sign on and off. So yeah, we're gonna play around with all kinds of fun different things and different actions where you can connect things. And Doc has a cool one that he's doing a video on that actually like every time that you open up Ecamm Live and hit go live, it tweets out where you're live to all of your Twitter followers. So there's a bunch of really cool things that you just don't even have to think about if you can plan out ahead, figure out how to automate a lot of that. So yeah, that's awesome that you guys have that with Camo, that you can just automatically not have to think about it, because it's inevitably that one time where you're like, I'm rushing and I just jumped down and I'm ready to go. That the person that never calls you calls, or an embarrassing text message comes through.
That's how it always works out.
Now, does Camo work on all cell phones, or is it an iOS?
Yes. So we started out as iOS. We kind of have like an internal joke that it's like all of our team members working on Windows and Android all wish they were working on still iOS. But we do work on Android also. Our Android is still in a public open beta right now, so there are things we're still figuring out to keep the performance of Camo and user experience as smooth as the iOS experience is, but it does work on Android. One of our good friends, Ella Glasgow, that does virtual events, she actually prefers her Android phone, she prefers like the color and like the video quality that it gives. So
some of them are amazing.
Depends on personal preference, and it depends on the phone. But it does work for Android, and a lot of people that have tried both kind of feel like they're pretty even. I'm always gonna say team my phone. So
yeah, no,
samesies. But my husband's pictures on his Android are really great.
Same. I'm always like,
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sometimes I see my brothers that take the pictures that come out on his phone. I'm just like, why does that look better than mine? I didn't say that out
loud,
I'm
never leaving.
I'm sorry, Apple.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
I know. No, I have those conversations every time I update my phone. My husband's like, that like you tell me every time that the most important part of your phone is the camera, and then you buy a phone that doesn't have the same level of camera as another phone. I'm like, yeah, but I also need to have an iPhone. So
they all speak the same language. I can't imagine having my primary cellular device not be in sync with all the other things.
Yeah, that's huge. I should rephrase my conversation to be my first most important thing is that. My second is the camera. Oh, Doc, no, I'm not.
The ability to copy I was just going to say the ability to copy something on your phone and paste it to your computer. I'm just like mind blowing that capability is there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. I'm scrolling through here to see if there's any questions. Paul is sharing our link. 10K YouTube subscribers. Not subscribers, YouTube subscribers. Doc's got fat fingers. No, you don't. I can make fun of you here and there. OCD cable management. Yeah.
And Doc,
Eileen is here.
I know that Sonys don't need dummy batteries, but I have more than just Sonys. So pipe down.
Pipe down.
Coming at me in the comments.
Gretchen, how's it going?
Quiet Coyote.
Quiet Coyote. I love it. I'm not seeing any questions coming through, which is just because it's so easy. But I think it's good for us to talk about all the different kinds of setups, and especially as we're thinking about, like, again, kind of portability and being on location. Yeah. I think in this day and age, it's kind of silly for you not to have your phone as an additional camera. Even if it's not going to be your main camera, it should be as easy as it was for me today to be like, oh, we're talking about cell phones and we're talking about literally going to plug it in and there it is on screen. It was just that simple for me to change it over.
I actually thought of something just now. We were talking about all the lighting options. this is so bad. I forget that Camo actually, you have the option to use the flash on the back of your phone. So it's like if you are really in a pinch and you don't
that's
have any
cool.
external lighting, you are in a low light situation, you can turn that flash on, baby. Like you just click it, it's on, and you can use your, I mean, it might be a little bright to be looking at it, the flash while you're talking, but it's not about your eyes, it's about the viewer's eyes, okay? You can use the flash on your phone to like, it's not going to replace an external key light or any actual lighting, but like it can make up for a lot if you're in a pinch.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing that I thought of just now as we were talking about like different setups and like convenience factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, so many celebrities that need this. Every time I'm listening to, or like watching one of those like celebrity like video podcast interviews, and you're like, where are you? Are you in your closet? What camera are you using? Like, I thought that you were wealthy. I don't understand what's happening here.
Yeah, I thought that you were wealthy. It's funny.
I just wanted to show that also you can use your phone and then with SnapCam make yourself look very.
I was gonna say, did you just put on
sophisticated.
lipstick like that? How did you do that?
Instant makeover.
Instant makeover. So like you can, I mean, we were playing with this the other night. There's all sorts of, oh, that one's not as good. Not as good. There we go. Back to this. But there's different options. I mean, even if you're just using your phone as a webcam, you can add different filters through something like SnapCam, and yeah.
Yeah.
We have
Now I don't wanna turn
filters
it off.
in Camo.
Don't turn it off. It looks awesome. You can just rock it.
Oh, and you have filters in Camo
don't
too,
have-
right?
Yeah, we don't have any that look quite as awesome as the one that you have with the dramatic pretty lipstick, or we can't do animated faces yet, but we hope to add way more lenses. We have like emoji face lens. Let me pull up one or two.
Hang on, you're frozen, so I'm gonna go over here to Jill.
Oh, I'm frozen? Oh
yeah,
no.
it's okay. You'll be back. Let me see if I
Okay.
can. There's a comparison again if you're joining late. Like Miles. No, just kidding. We love you, Miles. We're happy you're here. I don't have SnapCam turned on. I'd have to find it. I'm over here. We'll go back to Jill. Let me see if I can find it. SnapCam is fun. It makes such a big difference.
If only there was like something like a piece of paper or something, or like a mask that has all the exact makeup, and then every day I could just go and just go whack and then look
Right.
like this.
Well, it's so funny.
Someday.
We get all those questions all the time where people are like, does Ecamm have a filter? Can I just use a filter? And I'm like, well, you could just use SnapCam. They're like, oh no, I don't want to use SnapCam. Like, I don't want to use the like that. Those are silly. And I'm like, no, there's a lot of beauty filters.
No,
out there
there's
as
some
well.
that are subtle, not like this one. This one's still a little obvious. But Stephanie Lou was telling me the other day, she's like, no, there's a few filters that are just kind of smooth things out a little bit. So I should probably find
Yeah,
those
that's
ones and star
actually
them.
what
those
our beauty
lashes.
filter does. It basically just does really basic skin smoothing. Am I still frozen?
You're
Sorry.
still frozen.
It's like a really unflattering frame to be frozen on.
That's
but
okay. Here, I'll go
whatever.
side by side with Jill. Well, if we get you back, if I see you back, we'll pull you back in. But you can just talk. You can be the voice of
Okay.
God. The voice of God.
Yes.
Oh,
I will
yeah,
lip sync for you.
I do some voiceover work.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, but our beauty filter, it doesn't do lipstick or eyeliner, but it does basic skin smoothing, like, any minor blemishes and pores, all gone. I've become a little reliant on it lately, not gonna lie, just showing up to work. I barely wash my face, and I'm just like, I just throw on the beauty filter. No one will be able to tell on the Zoom call. So
Not a big deal.
yeah, we hope to add more lenses though, so people can have more dramatic options if they want. But we have like
Nice.
fun ones like emoji face, or like a giant hand, like you can do a giant thumbs up or giant wave in Zoom. There's like and some fun ones. We have like a one with a 3D cat on your head, a jaguar face.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're all in Camo, and those actually are available in the free version of Camo too, so you don't even have to upgrade to get those. Oh, you're on
my
fire. Oh my god.
Ultra filter. Oh, it's so fun. Yeah, Miles, if
Sorry.
you don't have it, don't listen to Doc. You need it. It's so fun. Snapcam is one of those fun things, and I will say, like, as silly as it is, and when I first saw it, I was like, that's silly. It, like, when you're scrolling through on Facebook or even on YouTube, like, things like that do tend to jump out. Like, it's eye catching enough. I love it. Yeah, Eden, Doc recommended if you try jumping off and back in again, like hang up and call back in again, that might help reset it.
Bat those lashes, Jill. Yeah, this it's too fun. Oh, well, there's a look.
There's Eden. All right, let's see here. We'll try again. Eden. All right, let's go back here. You're back.
I plugged in to Hardwire too, so I don't know what happened.
It's fine. We can blame me. I'm in Amesbury. Anything's possible here. Amesbury is the magical
I will say
land
though,
that anything's possible.
I joke to, like, Brooklyn internet. It's like, you know, you could have the best internet, it could still go out any second. You can never be too sure.
Yeah, there are no promises. That's for sure.
Yeah.
India, how's it going? We're the gang is all here. I love it. Yeah, I'm just going through to see if we have any other questions the Jetsons had.
If no one has any questions right now, please know y'all can always hit me up. Y'all can find me behind Reincubate Twitter. I am always around. Eden at reincubate.com. Support at reincubate.com. You can at me. They'll find their way to me. You know, I love interacting with people. I love answering questions. So, like, don't be a stranger. I'm around and always happy to, like, you know, take a look at your setup or what you're planning to use it for and see what suggestions I can offer. Because awesome. I feel like we like, I always forget sometimes until I'm talking to someone all of the ways that, like, Camo can actually be used. So
yeah,
the best way is to just like have a conversation and be like, oh, by the way, can you do this too? So
yeah, absolutely. And if you're here watching, Camo has graciously offered a discount as well. So there is a discount on the Ecamm perks page. Paul already dropped the link, I think, but if you haven't grabbed it, and if you don't know the password, it means you're not really part of the Ecamm fam. So you'll have to email us and find out. But yeah, no, there is definitely always that to take advantage of, which is great. And Eden is going to be hanging out with Jill and I in real life so soon.
So excited. I can't wait. I'm seriously so excited. Ecamm, y'all were one of the first people that, like, I got connected with after starting at Camo. So I am just so excited to meet you guys, Doc, the team. And also just because, like I said, I watch so many of y'all's streams. I feel like I already know you guys. So don't be alarmed when I just walk up and it's like, hey, what's up, guys? You know?
Yeah,
I'm gonna be really comfortable.
Good. I'm glad that, because I think I said on the last stream we talked about, like, prepping for these kinds of events. I am, like, the opposite way. I am totally, like, shy and introverted in real life, and I'm like I really would like a selfie with Eden, but she's over there. So you'll have to just come running over. Your enthusiasm will benefit
I will come running over with my phone and be like, Katie, let's take selfies and post them everywhere.
Yes, we'll take selfies with our phones. We'll be live streaming with our phones. Yeah, we will definitely have Camo as part of our streaming setup and station, so we'll be able to grab all kinds of fun stuff. So yeah,
nice.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And reminders, while we're doing reminders, since we're nearing the end of our hour. And then Unfulgence are going to be live from San Diego, from our amazing studio on location, Ecamm Live on location. Different time than normal, so just wanted to shout that out. That stream is already scheduled here on YouTube. It also will go out to all the other usual channels that they stream out to, but Monday, March 14th, 3 p.m. Pacific, so you'll have to either catch us live or on replay. Replay is okay too. but yeah, just something to take note of. Different different time than usual, but on location. It should be a lot of fun kind of seeing what's happening. And then we're recording a ton of content there as well. So there will be workshops, interviews with all of the people that are hanging out with us there. And, you know, we usually always do our fun, like, takeaways videos and blog posts and all that. So if you're like, I'm not going to this event, I'm feeling regret about it, it's okay. We are going to be at other events this year. We're going to take notes. We promise we will catch you up and bring you along with us. So it should be fun regardless. Even if you're watching from home, we promise it'll make a fun experience. Oh,
you
no,
will
I was
have
muted
some
for
FOMO,
the 10K scene.
but it's okay.
Thank goodness for India.
No, you weren't. I heard you.
You heard me? India
Oh, were you muted?
I was muted. All right. 10K celebration. Fun play on numbers. I'm going to say this again. So people who heard me are going to be like, what? 310 is our 310 release and our 10K YouTube subscriber celebration. So if you are around tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be here on YouTube giving away prizes, talking about all of the amazing features going into version 3.10 of Ecamm Live, having some special guests on, and generally having a fun time. So if you want to come and hang out with Ken and Glenn and Doc and I and a bunch of other guests, it should be a lot of fun. Wait, we're going back through and back to the beginning. Oh, it's been one of those days. I want to blame the snow, but there's really no good excuse for it.
We're in the test studio, right? This is, of all the streams that Ecamm cranks out, this is the one to hit all of the scenes wrong and to mess up all of the things.
Otherwise called the like Katie's safe space. This is the Katie's safe space stream where it's okay to not be perfect. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
It comes off relatable.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad it comes off relatable. I was building out all the scenes last night. I think it was last night or the night before with my best friend for a show that we're doing. And I was like, oh, I'm so good at this. Like, look at how awesome. She was like, yeah, you're live all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I am live a lot. So I was just very like proud of myself for being able to manipulate scenes. It was very exciting.
You should be for sure.
Oh, this is a great question right here. If you have time, Jill, before we jump off, Miles wants to know, and this is like a big question, so we may have to do a follow-up, but your journey as a video producer, how did you get started?
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can summarize in like 45 seconds. I was a high school teacher for 11 years. And during that time, I've always been a musician and a creative and an artist on some level. And so I've always been drawn to technology. So when I was teaching, I like in the time of iMovie, I was like the best, most impressive iMovie teacher ever, making tutorials and recording my screen before it was like easy to do. So I kind of started doing video production as a teacher. And then I was lucky enough to start to do some social media production and more, you know, as I was improving my craft, I was hired by the school to transition out of teaching and into full-time communications and marketing and like a promotion and all that fun stuff. So during that time, it was great. I was in a safe space where I could improve my craft, get paid to learn how to do these things.
That's awesome.
And then I picked up clients here and there, and things have just grown and really exploded during the pandemic. And then I landed some really big jobs like with Rosetta Stone, where I was live streaming on their channel and doing on-demand content. So I kind of go back and forth between being on-camera talent, not a big deal. I'm really shy. I hate the attention. And then behind the scenes. And so I guess I have a big passion for learning. So whether that be technology or cameras or editing, I love it. And I've hooked up with some great people. So now I can do it full time, and I really love it.
Yeah. If you don't know Jill well enough, she's awesome. So you should definitely learn more about what she does. Because I will say, I mean, just to talk you up a little bit more, it is not easy to produce video for other people, and so it definitely is a really specific skill set. And the fact that you can do both, just like create videos for yourself and be able to jump on live streams as guests or join me here, that's a really different like personality and skill set than all the stuff you do on the production side. So it's neat. You have two sides to the coin, which is rare. The math brain and the English brain. Rolled
It's
into
crazy,
one.
right?
The
But
rare
basically, I'm
Pokemon
just a big
combination.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just a big show off. And also, truly, to be completely transparent, I have ADHD. I've always been diagnosed as ADHD. And what that does help me with is like hyper focus. So I can, when I really get into a project, it doesn't matter what's going on around me, like laundry. I'm just able to dial in and really do that. And because I'm also like extroverted and video production is great. So even if I'm just doing it on behalf of a client, I'm still able to have my voice and my creativity and my approach to even a project that might be boring. I trick myself into really enjoying it and liking it. And then I get to like somebody else gets to get the praise and support and accolades for that. And then that comes back to me and I'm like, yeah, I made them look so good. So I'm vain. Yeah, I'm really vain. So that's
It's
a
worth a
little bit about
follow.
me.
You gotta follow.
It's
I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh my goodness. I love it. Yeah, I just have the cameras in gear. They hit record, need to figure out the rest. Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. I love it. Well, we've done it again. We've blown another perfectly good hour chatting and sharing updates on how you can do this.
Can't believe it's already been an hour.
Right?
Oh my God.
Right. If we can do this, I set this up in seconds between bringing my kids to the studio so they can go to coding class and
Yep.
Eden calling in and helping me figure out what things I could use to prop up my very tiny little phone holder. So if I can do it, you can do it, and you can look amazing doing it. It's not as hard as it sometimes seems or feels. So I would challenge everyone to try out Camo. If not Camo, then just literally start by plugging your phone in. Like Ecamm will just pull up your phone screen. Just start playing around and see what's possible by connecting different things you already have. But yeah, grab that discount
And
code.
you might need to hit the trust button. That's one thing people are like, my phone's not showing up. It is one of the easiest little things I always tell people when you plug in your phone to a computer.
Trust it.
Sometimes
Trust your
you have
phone.
to wait for the devices to
point.
be like, do you want to trust this device? Especially with Mac. So if you're getting frustrated, make sure you plug it in, wait, and trust your device. That's my little PSA.
If you're running last minute, plug it in, set it down, and then do your couple things and then come back over to the trust button. Absolutely. Well,
I wasn't sure at first you were talking about like trust metaphorically as like a button, but
Press
it's
no,
like a
it's
literal
literally.
button.
Big button.
Yeah.
Do you trust this device? Yes, I do. And then it'll show up. I've just had that issue like happen so many times. Yeah.
I love it. Well, David was using Camo this morning. I know we have lots of team Camo here on this stream anyway, but yeah, help Eden and her team spread the word. So if you're using it and loving it, talk about it in your streams or help share it out. And if you want to grab a promo code, you can head over to the perks page, which Paul dropped into the comments. You need the password, so you're going to have to hang out with us to get the password. And you can always hang out with us in the community. Eden's there, Jill's there, I'm there. We're going to be streaming next week live from San Diego. Ecamm.tv/community, I think, is our short link for the community group. But you can jump in there. You can find us pretty easily. I will see both of you amazing people in like a couple of days. And I'm off to
Oh my
pack.
God, I'm
I
so
haven't done any
excited.
packing. There's a big giant
Oh yeah,
pile of
I'm gonna
stuff.
pack like Saturday. Yeah.
Yes.
I've been packing mentally, so
Good,
when
there
the
you
time
go.
comes, I just have to actually pack it.
Exactly.
Execute it. Yeah. You got it.
Yeah, we got this. Doc's there early, so he can report back if we're missing anything. He could be like, hey, you're going to need this. It's all good. Well, thank you to you both. Thanks for everyone for watching, and we will be back again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Jill and I, maybe a special guest, who knows. And Eden, you can find everywhere. All of the Reading Community channels.
Everywhere.
In the
Hit
Ecamm
me
community.
up. Find me.
Yeah, definitely.
And say hi to me in San Diego if you're there too. I'll be around Ecamm. I'm just gonna be hanging around like them. Hanging around. I'm gonna be your barnacle for the weekend.
Perfect.
Yay.
We
I'll be
travel in
your
groups.
whale.
We'll be whales. No, that's not it. That's not the right one.
Whatever. I'll be your whale, Eden. I'm your whale girlfriend.
Can we stream you streaming next week? Absolutely. You can stream us streaming next week. That would be absolutely amazing. Johnny's going to give it a try tonight. Thank you so much for everyone for watching, and we will be back again next week. Thanks, everyone.